Hello viewers, welcome to Big Man Business YouTube channel. Here is another highly informative video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Belgium's top imports and exports. Before we go in depth into the topic, let's see some interesting facts about Belgium. A founding member of the European Union, the Kingdom of Belgium borders the Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, and France. Belgium also lies across the English Channel from the United Kingdom. Belgium exported $419.9 billion worth of goods around the globe in 2020. That dollar amount reflects a 5.4% increase since 2016 but a minus 5.7% drop from 2019 to 2020. Applying a continental lens, over 3/4 or 75.6% of Belgium's exports by value were delivered to fellow European countries while 10.7% were sold to importers in Asia. Belgium shipped another 8.3% worth of goods to North America. Smaller percentages of 3% went to Africa, Latin America excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean got 1.5% then. Oceania led by Australia and New Zealand got 0.6%. If you're new to the Big Man Business YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive updates on new business expert videos. For more international business news and updates, please visit www.bigmanbusiness.com. Belgium's top trading partners. Below is a list showcasing 15 of Belgium's top trading partners. These are countries that imported the most Belgian shipments by dollar value during 2020. Also shown is each import country's percentage of total Belgian exports. Germany with $73.2 billion, which accounts for 17.4% of Belgium's total exports. France with $57.5 billion, which accounts for 13.7%. The Netherlands with $48.4 billion accounts for 11.5%. The United Kingdom with $32.2 billion accounts for 7.7%. The United States with $29.6 billion accounts for 7%. Italy with $21.5 billion accounts for 5.1%. Spain with $12.6 billion accounts for 3%. Poland with $10 billion accounts for 2.4%. China with $9.7 billion accounts for 2.3%. Sweden with $7.6 billion accounts for 1.8%. Luxembourg with $6.5 billion accounts for 1.5%. Turkey with $5.7 billion accounts for 1.4%. Switzerland with $5.7 billion accounts for 1.4%. India with $5.1 billion accounts for 1.2%. Russia with $4.4 billion accounts for 1.1%. Over 3/4 or 78.5% of Belgian exports in 2020 were delivered to the above 15 trade partners. Among these top importers from 2019 to 2020, Belgium increased its export sales to 6 trade partners. China was up by 22.5%, Turkey was up by 8.5%, the United States was up by 7%. Sweden was up by 3.3%, Poland was up by 1.6%, and Spain was up by 0.9%. Leading the decliners year over year was India, which went down by minus 31.4%, Luxembourg down by minus 18%, and Switzerland down by minus 12.4%. Belgium's top 10 imports. Belgium imported $395.8 billion worth of goods from around the globe in 2020, up by 4.3% since 2016 but down by minus 7.2% from 2019 to 2020. Belgian imports represent 2.1% of total global imports, which totaled $19.085 trillion 1 year earlier. Based on the average exchange rate for 2020, Belgium uses the euro, which appreciated by 3.1% against the US dollar since 2016 and increased by 2% from 2019 to 2020. The stronger EU currency in 2020 made Belgium's imports paid for in weaker US dollars relatively more expensive when converted starting from euros. Applying a continental lens, 70.3% of Belgium's total imports by value were purchased from fellow European countries. Asian trade partners accounted for 16.4% of Belgian import purchases, while 8.8% worth of goods originated from North America. Smaller percentages of 2.6% came from Africa, and Latin America had 1.5% excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean, then Oceania with 0.3% led by Australia and New Zealand. Given Belgium's population of 11.6 million people, its total $395.8 billion in 2020 imports translates to roughly $34,100 in yearly product demand from every person in the country. The following product groups represent the highest dollar value in Belgium's import purchases during 2020. Also shown is the percentage share each product category represents in terms of overall imports into Belgium. Pharmaceuticals with $51.4 billion accounts for 13% of total imports. Vehicles with $49.7 billion account for 12.6%. Mineral fuels including oil with $33.2 billion account for 8.4%. Machinery including computers with $31.6 billion account for 8%. Organic chemicals with $25 billion account for 6.3%. Electrical machinery, equipment with $23.1 billion account for 5.8%. Plastic articles with $17 billion account for 4.3%. Gems, precious metals with $14.6 billion account for 3.7%. Optical, technical, medical apparatus with $12.3 billion accounts for 3.1%. Iron, steel with $9.5 billion accounts for 2.4%. Belgium's top 10 imports accounted for about two-thirds, which is 67.6% of the overall value of its product purchases from other countries. The sole growers from 2019 to 2020 among Belgium's top imports were pharmaceuticals up by 19% and electrical machinery and equipment up by 3.1%. Leading the decliners year-over-year were the mineral fuels including the oil category thanks to a minus 34.8% reduction. Belgium's top 10 exports. The Kingdom of Belgium shipped $419.9 billion worth of goods around the globe in 2020. That dollar amount reflects a 5.4% increase since 2016 but a minus 5.7% drop from 2019 to 2020. Based on the average exchange rate for 2020, Belgium uses the euro, which appreciated by 3.1% against the US dollar since 2016 and increased by 2% from 2019 to 2020. The stronger EU currency in 2020 made Belgium's exports paid for in weaker US dollars relatively more expensive for international buyers. The latest available country-specific data shows that 74.9% of products exported from Belgium were bought by importers in Germany with 17.4% of the global total, France with 13.7%, the Netherlands with 11.5%, the United Kingdom with 7.7%, the United States with 7%, Italy with 5.1%, Spain with 3%, Poland with 2.4%, China with 2.3%, Sweden with 1.8%, Luxembourg with 1.5%, and Turkey with 1.4%. From a continental perspective, over three-quarters with 75.6% of Belgium's exports by value were delivered to fellow European countries while 10.7% were sold to importers in Asia. Belgium shipped another 8.3% worth of goods to North America. Smaller percentages of 3% went to Africa, Latin America excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean with 1.5%, then Oceania led by Australia and New Zealand with 0.6%. Given Belgium's population of 11.6 million people, its total $419.9 billion in 2020 exports translates to roughly $36,200 for every resident in the West European country. The following export product groups represent the highest dollar value in Belgian global shipments during 2020. Also shown is the percentage share each export category represents in terms of overall exports from Belgium. Pharmaceuticals with $61.3 billion account for 14.6% of total exports. Vehicles with $50.2 billion account for 11.9%. Machinery including computers with $29.6 billion 7%. Plastic articles with $27.5 billion accounts for 6.5%. Organic chemicals with $26.6 billion account for 6.3%. Mineral fuels including oil with $24.6 billion accounts for 5.9%. Gems, precious metals with $15.7 billion account for 3.7%. Electrical machinery, Equipment with $15.7 billion accounts for 3.7%. Iron, steel with $13.7 billion accounts for 3.3%. Optical, technical, medical apparatus with $12.5 billion account for 3%. Belgium's top 10 exports accounted for roughly two-thirds or 66% of the overall value of its global shipments. Two top product categories increased from 2019 to 2020, namely pharmaceuticals up by 16.4%, and electrical machinery and equipment up by 1.2%. The leading decliner among Belgium's top 10 export categories was mineral fuels, including oil, thanks to a minus 32.9% drop year-over-year. In macroeconomic terms, Belgium's total exported goods represent 72.9% of its overall gross domestic product for 2020, with $575.8 billion valued in purchasing power parity US dollars. That's 72.9% for exports to overall GDP in PPP for 2020 compares to 78.3% for 2019. Those percentages suggest a relatively decreasing reliance on products sold on international markets for Belgium's total economic performance, albeit based on a short time frame. Also, note that Belgium's export metrics include a significant amount of re-exporting activity. Another key indicator of a country's economic performance is its unemployment rate. Belgium's unemployment rate was 5.6% in January 2021, up from 5% 1 year earlier according to Trading Economics. Belgium's capital city is Brussels. Thanks for watching this video. We are open to suggestions. Kindly drop your comments in the comment box and don't forget to subscribe to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. See you in the next video.